uh, turn themselves into the enemy. And so, yeah, I daydream about that all the time. But yeah, whether it'll happen is probably not very probable.
Meanwhile, I just daydream about tacos and burritos.
So how did you figure out what the mechanics of things like Berserk and Double? Was it ever public? Well, that's a good question. You know, we basically done a lot of backwards engineering because of things like there's property flags that are abbreviated in DFC, or rather Darkness Falls, the Tempest engine, the original, and so everything that requires variable, pretty much, or multiple variables, which is pretty much everything, has this huge chunk of data. So what we've done is we've looked over what we do have that and what is available to us, which is the data dumps that were collected by staff members. And then the best thing, as of recently, our friend Nania Elysian here has literally a physical copy of the manual to the guide. The manual to the the game masters and staff members regarding the old Tempest. How to edit the game, basically. So we're working on a way to get a copy of that, and then I think from there the sky's the limit. So Mike is very keen on authentically recreating the end result, and he will do that by whatever means he needs to do, and with my help and with everybody's help, especially Devilich and Daleth, and then the community.
Not
Daleth, right, sorry. We will fill in the void, fill in the gaps, and then all the logs that we get from players kind of give us the syntax. They say, okay, if you're laying down, can you wield a weapon? And you can't, so you can see a little message, things like that, fill in the little gaps. And then but to better answer your question for Berserk and combat related things, that will be ultimately a combination of Nania's editing kind of information, at her handbook, as well as a lot of testing to emulate, the old, what we're used to seeing. So it's kind of it's a new creation, and I don't think it was really ever public knowledge. So the handbook may help us kind of figure out the back end, if you will, a bit better.
And to expand on that a little bit, if we weren't able to get those formulas exactly right, the plan, I think, was to go a more formulaic route with using standard D&D formulas, and then tweak it from there, if it comes to that. And I think that would ultimately work as well.
Yeah, and we do, so we know a lot of general things, and one is first of all, the health and mana and fatigue levels of characters is relatively small to compared to what we're used to seeing today. So for example, it even says so right on the scroll here on the bottom next to the human portrait, the Tamian portrait, it says hit points 375. That's in comparison to what we're used to is it's literally nothing. But in DFC and then ultimately Darkness Rises, it's everything. So damage, the scale and damage is very finite, and we don't need to test a lot, honestly, in that regard. So weapons will have probably a short range of damage, as we're used to seeing, and the public knowledge, as it stands right now, is actually in the databases that's being hosted in various places. So there's an object file, there's a spell file, there's an NPC file and a room file that's kind of just out there and has been out there for a few years. And in those files, especially the objects, there are values for things like damage and all of the special properties as well. So. And yes, there is definitely zeroing. So. The thing is, though, is it's ultimately it's just not dying instantly. It's just giving you that little threshold, which I think is really great. Really makes the game what it is as far as combat and living or dying. Yes. It's unique.
I haven't ran into any other game that had that feature. I mean, I thought it was just so unique whenever it happened. I mean, in every other game you get to zero, you're instantly dead. But in this one, it's like you got zeroed, and as long as you weren't bleeding, you had a good chance to get away and live. It was really nice.
How long ago did DFC go down again? Glacial, it was, I believe, in 2005. It literally has the Mythic Entertainment webpage archive that shows you, I think, a date on it of like January 20th or 25th or something like that of 2005, if I'm not mistaken.
Steal that goblin's wagon, hurry.
It's rickety, okay? Don't forget.
Yeah, but he could have some cheese in there. Come on now.
It's probably not very good cheese, or might actually be amazing cheese. No, depending on how.
I just realized what we need. We need Grand Theft Auto mud. With that. Next project.
Indeed, yeah. The bleeder bows, sorry. It does blow too, with 7 rounds of bleeding, yeah. Bleed and poison and disease are fun times. AOL, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Elysian was referring to DF1 back in 1998, and that was, after AOL, I think, so.
Yeah, that was on GameStorm, or, yeah, probably GameStorm.
Yeah.
And then after GameStorm, didn't it go to Centropolis? And then from Centropolis, it, like, Mythic Realms took control of it or something? Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Centropolis was... It's interesting. If you look up Centropolis, they're like a... kind of like an umbrella company for, like, the movie business in LA. It's a very strange history, among all the other things that we know about the game. But the hosts themselves are just as interesting.
It was DFC, Glacial said. on a DFC.
Oh. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Herp derp.
Oh, he keeps crying. Wait, don't have your hand rubbing his head.
Sounds good, Algon. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thank you for your donation, and yeah, we'll be here.
Next Friday?
Probably. I'll probably be here tomorrow as well.
Oh, good. Well, I will see y'all tomorrow too. I'm not going yet, but
I'll see you too.
Tutu. Oh, I know it's totally immature, but on debate last night, I couldn't help but just smile when Bernie Sanders said doo-doo. It just brought a little smile to my face. Totally mature here.
Yeah, I think for DF1 I was 11, 12 years old.
You were a youngin' too.
Catch you later, DFC Nothing. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Or sister. Or both. Or it.
Or rock.
All right, rock. We'll have to establish this at some point.
We'll just make a macro for it.
Yeah. Cover all bases. Well, it is a nothing, so maybe we'll just call it a nothing.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Goodbye, nothing.
It wasn't even here. Sean!
I agree, Toe Clan. Definitely a rock.
Or is it log?
Log.
Problemo!
That and powdered toast, man.
Oh god. I had one of my teachers actually when I went to game design trade school. One of my teachers was an animator for that show.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
That must have been a treat to talk to him. Did they have any favorite scenes that they drew?
I mean, I think the whole thing was just bonkers, and the guy was extremely animated himself. It was a treat just going to class, just seeing him draw and talk the whole time.
I bet that was amazing though, because you watched it as a kid, right? No doubt. And then you meet this guy who's part of your childhood. That's awesome.
Yeah. I was blown away by it.
They do say never meet your heroes, but it sounds like you actually had a good time with them.
Yeah. He taught me. We did. That was the storyboarding class. So he kind of taught us quick animations and transitions between frames, stuff like that. So I learned to the art of creating a game or a story or a cinematic or whatever, page by page. And of course, so you go, okay, so if you want to draw a guy standing with his right arm and he's flexing and he's pointing with his other arm, so you just go like this, go like that, bang, bang, boom, and it's like a work of art, where it's like, how did you do that?
Did he have a trouble transitioning to the digital age? Because that's one thing that I always wondered about all these analog painters and animators. Have they transitioned well?
I think he's relatively on the younger side, so I think he was fine. We didn't really kind of cover that, but from what I could tell, he was totally fine. But I'm sure, for the older crowd that it may have been a big transition for sure.